In this section, we are going to be looking at one of my favorite tools to help you build a high converting e-commerce campaign. And this is your customer avatar canvas. And we're going to document the perfect kind of customer for your business. And we're going to start documenting different ways that we could speak in transformation, which is what we really, really want to do to get your customers' attention and convert more sales through your campaign. This is an overview of the customer avatar canvas. I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it 3 more times today. This is one of the most important steps to building a high converting e-commerce campaign. You can't skip over it. You got to do the hard work and fill this out the best you can. So when we fill out the customer avatar canvas, you want to be thinking about the qualities of your best customers. This is who you want to attract. So set your intent out to the world and focus on the customers that you want more of. If you have more than one customer segment, start with the one that you want to focus on the most, the kind of customer that you want to attract more of. But you would want to build a customer avatar canvas for each and every type of customer segment that you have. We're going to be looking at a real world example. So this is for one of the clients that we've worked with for many years. This client is called Ocean Sports, and they're located in a prairie province in Canada. So even though they're called Ocean Sports, there's no oceans nearby. So their customer segments that they sell to most often are usually lake folks. And one of the customer segments that they sell to the most from the lake folks is the lake dad. So I'm going to show you a real customer avatar canvas that we built with our client for Lake Dad Daryl. He's this guy. He's the guy at the lake that is saving the kids. Everybody wants to hang out with him. He's driving the boat. He has all the cool gadgets and gear, which is a great customer for our client Ocean Sports because he also probably spends the most and has a lot of disposable income that he uses for these amazing items. So with the customer avatar canvas, you want to start in this top little box here. And this part is going to be simple. You want to be thinking about the target customer segment. So for this one, we're thinking about the lake dads. So the whole idea with the customer avatar canvas is that we are trying to build a profile that all of the lake dads have in common. Similar interests, similar passions, similar fears, and all that good stuff. So the first thing that you would do is identify that segment. For example, if you sell wakeboarding gear, which we do, lake dads would be a distinct customer segment that you sell to who have common goals, struggles, and needs. Just to paint a fuller picture here, you may also sell to like the lake beach people, like the beach bums. But we are not selling to the beach bum today. We are selling to the lake dads. And then next, you want to tack on a make-believe name after the customer segment. Keep it catchy so it's memorable. So your avatar could be Lake Dad Daryl. So Lake Dad are the customer segment, all the lake dads out there, and we're just giving it a catchy, memorable name that has some alliteration on there, Lake Dad Daryl. Keep it simple, don't overthink it, and let's move to the next step in this customer avatar canvas. The next section that we want to fill out is in the middle there, it's in the red box, it's demographics and interests. You want to paint a picture of who they are, so you want to include all of these relevant things. What is their age? What is their gender? What is their marital status? Do they have children? What is the number of children that they have? Location, do they live in an urban center? Do they live in a rural community? Do they have a common occupation or job title? Do they have a shared common annual income? Do they have a similar level of education? You want to fill out this section with all of the ones that might be applicable to your customer segment. So you don't necessarily need to fill out all of these, but just hone in on the ones that your customer segment often has in common with one another. And a really, really good exercise for this section is that you want to include a quote that sums up their feelings related to the problem and goal most closely related to your product. So a really good exercise that you could do to think about this quote assignment is picture your customer segment all scrolling through Instagram. They see lots of different photos and content, but all of a sudden they see a meme or a quote that really resonates with them. And you want to picture your customer segment laughing, doing an aggressive nod, and sharing it with their friends and family and other lake dads. So the quote that we have here for our lake dad, Daryl, is, "My boat runs on gas, not thanks." Right? So he's the guy at the lake. He's always paying for gas for the boat. We know that the gas is really expensive at the lake. And a lot of people are just like, thanks for the boat ride. And Lake Dad Daryl thinks it's kind of funny because he's like, don't thank me, contribute to gas. And we know that this quote is something that's going to make him laugh. So you want to be thinking about the language that you're using in all of your messaging that's going to get a really good reaction from your customer segment. This one was so effective for our client that they actually made mugs, like little tumblers that you can bring on the boat that has that quote on there. So we actually turned this into a separate product because the quote was so effective. You also want to list out different brands or influencers that they follow or engage with. If I was going to go on Lake Dad Daryl's boat, what other kind of products would I see there? Would I see fishing rods? Would I see some little mini barbecue tools? And further than that, what kind of brands are manufacturing these products? So you want to list out all the different kind of products that Lake Dad Daryl loves, all the different brands that Lake Dad Daryl buys, and list those all out. You also want to be thinking about things like events he attends, TV shows he watches, newsletters he subscribes to. We're trying to paint a big full picture of all the things that he shops for, the brands he loves, and where he goes to find information. So what is his source of information? List all those out here as well. The purpose of listing out all this information is that we're going to be using it when we create different audiences when it comes time to advertise. So list out as many possible ideas as you can. For the next section, we're actually going to jump down to the lower left where it says frustrations and fears. These are the problems that the customer has that he or she wants to move away from. So what keeps them up at night? What annoys and or frustrates them? What challenges do they face on a daily basis, big or small? Who or what is standing in the way of their success and happiness? What are some key systems in their life or their job that frequently fail? What's something they're forced to interact with that's difficult to manage or to understand? And what feature or lack of features do they regularly complain about in relation to your products and services? So for our Lake Dad Daryl, for frustrations and fears, just to list out a couple here, you know that he doesn't like cheap gear that needs to be replaced. He's fearful of his kids' safety. So you can list out some frustrations and fears here for your customer segment. In the next section, we're going to look at wants and aspirations. These are the things that your customer segment wants to move towards in life and wants more of. So some good questions to consider here. What do they want for themselves? What do they want for the people around them, their family, friends, coworkers, employees? What do they aspire to be? What goals have they set for themselves? What values do they hold dear? And what are their secret desires? For our Lake Dad Daryl, we know that he wants happy family moments and memories. He wants the lake community to have the best time too. He wants neighbors and friends and relatives to all make crazy, awesome memories together. Lake Dad Daryl also aspires to create the dream getaway and retirement haven. He works a busy job throughout the week. He wants an amazing getaway that he can escape to with the family. We also know that Lake Dad Daryl values family legacy, tradition, the outdoors, and activities. So list out all of the wants and aspirations for your customer segment. You can do that right now. We're going to jump into the next section here. So we're going to go back up into the middle, and these are the key purchase drivers. These items are going to be more specific to your product, and it's the must-haves for your product. It's the deal killers. With key purchase drivers, ask yourself, why would this avatar buy? What is most important to them? What are the must-have features? What are their expectations of the service? What are their quality expectations? Are there any known deal killers? And what are some common objections that must be overcome? Are there any additional stakeholders or decision makers in the buying process? For our Lake Dad Daryl, we know that their kids guide what products to buy. So the kids are probably nagging at dad, we need this brand, we need this product, we need this latest and greatest item. So the kids have a wish list for what's hot, and dad has the wallet. We know some more key purchase drivers. They need to look good at the lake, so style and options are going to be important. It needs to be the trendiest brand. And what kind of common objections are your customer segment going to ask about your product? When your customer is on the product page, there's usually a little voice in the back of their head that is convincing them to buy or not to buy. That is the question. So if there's anything that they're considering, you want to preempt that on your product page. Think about all the FAQs, frequently asked questions. Are they going to wonder about shipping times, the shipping weight? Are they going to wonder about returns? Are they going to wonder about sizing? You want to think about all of the things that your customer segment is debating before they purchase. And if you can answer every single possible thing that would convince them not to buy, you're well on your way to making a conversion. Now we're going to jump over to the before and after states of your customer segment. And to me, this is probably one of the most important parts to consider because, as I said, this section is all about how you speak in transformation. So with the before state of your customer, they're living in a miserable state right now. And we are now going to position how your product is going to be a vehicle to get them to their aspirational state, get them to that after state. So there are 5 different sections in the before and after states, and it's ultimately all about how your product will transform your customer for the better. What was your customer's life like before using your products, and what is it like after? Remember, people don't buy products, they buy transformations. For example, people buy gym equipment to transform their bodies, or people buy jewelry and apparel to transform their appearance or elevate their status. So let's take a look at Lake Dad Daryl's before states. So this is your customer's current undesirable state. And we start at the very top left there, and this is the have. What does your avatar have right now that they don't want? This should be as relevant to your products as possible. So for our Lake Dad Daryl, he has outdated, uncool, broken down gear. Then we move to the feel state. How does that thing make your avatar feel in the before state? So he had outdated, uncool, broken down gear. How does that make him feel? Makes him feel embarrassed and guilty. And how does that embarrassment and guilty impact his average day, which is the next section? Well, now he's not going to the lake often. He's not spending quality time with the family. If he's not spending quality time at the lake and his family, how does that impact his status? When you're thinking about status, you're thinking about your standing amongst your peers or other professionals. So all of the people at lake are probably calling Lake Dad a recluse neighbor. So now he's this recluse neighbor that nobody sees anymore. That's his status. And with the next section, every product out there in the world helps overcome an evil that's out there in the world. So with Lake Dad Daryl, the evil that our products are helping overcome in the world, think about it. If the kids don't go to the lake because they don't have cool gear and we're becoming recluse neighbors, what's going to happen? They're going to grow up on their phones, they're going to grow up on Snapchat, and they're never going to be able to make these amazing family memories. With the after state, we're asking now, how has your customer transformed? With the have, we're thinking about now what does Lake Dad Daryl have? Now he has top quality gear that's trendy and sexy. How does that make him feel? It makes him feel like he's proud to show it off. He's empowered and excited. How does that impact his average day? Now he's at the lake every single weekend making memories with his friends and family. How does that impact his status? Now he's the guy that everyone at the lake wants to hang out with or even be. And the good versus evil, the evil that he has helped overcome in the world, now his kids are growing up active. They're out at the lake, they're being healthy, they're not growing up on their phones. And that's impacting their friends. They're bringing more friends out to the lake. So it's this positive snowball effect of everybody being healthy and active. So now what I want you to do, I hope that as we were going through this, you were thinking about some really good ideas for your customer avatar, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating some strong messaging based on your customer avatar canvas. And specifically, as you're going to see later on in the presentation, we're going to be testing out some of this messaging in ads to validate what is resonating with your customer segment the most. So the exercise that I need you to do right now is go through your customer avatar canvas, and we're going to pull out 5 big ideas that speak to your customer's aspirational state. When we go out in the world and we start running ads and sending out emails and flushing out our product pages, we always want to include messaging that speaks to that transformational state. And as you're going to see later, and as I just mentioned, we are going to test some ads to see what's resonating the most. So this is your opportunity right now to pull out 5 big ideas from your customer avatar canvas that speak to the transformational state of your target customer. For our big ideas, we have 3 listed here. So we could be creating messaging that says, get your kids off Snapchat and hit the lake. It's as simple as that, right? That's going to speak to that average day. It's going to speak to that good versus evil state. Another idea we have here is make memories for friends and neighbors. And the last one idea we have here is just show your kids that you're cool. So these are 3 big ideas that we pulled from the customer avatar canvas. I assign you to think of 5. So if you could think of 5, think of a few more. I'm just providing a few examples for the purpose of this presentation. Included in this lesson is a worksheet that I want you to actually fill out, because as we go through each section, we're going to be building a campaign for your business. So in that worksheet, you're gonna see a section that says Customer Avatar Canvas Big Ideas. This is where you're going to list out your big ideas that we're going to flush out later throughout the rest of this lesson. So when we're creating ads and campaign messaging, it all starts with a big idea that speaks to the customer's transformation. But in the next section, I'm gonna show you how to amplify your big idea with 4 different offer attributes. And these are the offer attributes that persuade customers to say yes most often. So let's hop into that next section.